The wait is over. JuniorGP is back and the road to racing greatness starts right here at Estoril. Once the stage for legends of the Premier class, this Portuguese circuit now plays host to the champions of tomorrow. Twisting through the Atlantic breeze with 13 corners and one incredible back straight, Estoril is a track that rewards bravery, precision and pure racing talent. Last year, the circuit delivered drama and breakout moments, including a maiden win for Finland's Rico Salmela. Now with the 2024 frontrunners having graduated to Moto3, the next wave of talent arrives looking to stake their claim. The 2024 JuniorGP season roared to life under the Misano sun, where rookie Jesus Rios made an instant impact, overcoming a dramatic debut weekend to storm to a stunning double victory. A few weeks later, the series headed to a mixed weather Estoril. In the tricky conditions, Finland's Rico Salmela shone brightest, breaking away from the pack to claim his first win in the class. Next up, Catalonia. Under the scorching Barcelona sun, Rios claimed his third win of the season in race 1, but it was a photo finish in race 2 that delivered Alvaro Carpe his maiden victory, one that would kickstart his title charge. Then came Podium. Carpe made it back-to-back wins in race 1, but a new name stole the spotlight in race 2. After a debut podium, Guido Pini powered to his first JuniorGP win in the south of Portugal. In Jerez, title leader Rios hit trouble with a crash, while Pini went back-to-back with another victory. Then, in race 2, Brian Uriarte made a spectacular entrance, taking a debut win and firmly announcing himself as one to watch. However, Carpe, after 3 straight P3s, returned to the top step in Aragon to keep his title hopes alive, and ultimately he sealed the crown right here in Estoril at the end of the 2024 campaign. Here we see the class photo of 2025, and what a talented group of riders it is. Last year's top 3 riders all moved up to Moto3. Jesus Rios returns as the highest placed rider from last season, and maybe the one to beat. We have Brian Uriarte, a 2024 race winner, another rising star in the mix, while Casey James O'Gorman returns chasing his first win after 2 podiums last year. We can't count out the likes of Joel Esteban either, whose recent Grand Prix performances on the world stage suggest he will be a major force in 2025. Welcome, good afternoon to the sole JuniorGP race in Estoril for 2025. Bringing you coverage of the event, I am Chris Jordan and joined by Connor Doherty alongside me. Connor, I am very much looking forward to this one. It is a field stacked with quality. I have no idea who is going to win this race.
Chris, it's absolutely incredible to be here with you, and I have no idea either, and I would be very reluctant to put my money on anyone. This is one of the most talented cohorts I've seen in this class in a very long time, and JuniorGP, as we know, is very much a breeding ground of incredible talents. The people coming through at this level go on to do incredible things. We've seen it time and time again. And this year, I expect no less. I mean, we've seen an absolutely incredible qualifying session in difficult conditions. We've seen P1 being traded between Brian Uriarte and Rico Salmela throughout the weekend. It was Salmela that came out on top there for qualifying, and we'll start from pole, but this is going to be a rivalry, I think, throughout this entire 2025 campaign. Of course, beginning here at Circuito do Estoril.
Yeah, you mentioned it there. Of course, I say I have no idea who's going to win, but there has been one name atop the timesheets for the majority of the weekend, Brian Uriarte, who made his JuniorGP debut late in the season last year, but didn't take much time in actually making an impression, a podium and victory in his first outing. He has topped every session here this weekend, with the exception of Q2. Rico Salmela, Estrella Galicia, now of Estrella Galicia, and last year's race winner here, just came up with the goods during qualifying, and he had a couple of tenths even in his back pocket over Uriarte. So Salmela, I remember last year, started around mid-pack. I can't remember exactly where on the grid, but in conditions similar to this, where it's a little bit mixed conditions, it's a drying track, and he charged home to victory. Will that happen again? Will we see a repeat? I don't know, but he'll certainly be in the conversation. But yes, it is a field stacked with quality. Brian Uriarte, We've managed to speak to some of the teams, and he's been earmarked as not just one for the future, but one for now in JuniorGP. And most likely, no, I don't know, but if I was a talent scout on the Moto3 level, I would certainly be looking at Brian Uriarte among some of the other riders here. But Uriarte has definitely been grabbing the headlines. There are, of course, plenty of other riders. We'll get through them one by one, I'm sure, and we'll get through them at some day across the season. But let's talk about Rico Salmela, our pole sitter, and this is how he did it.
I knew to start pushing already from the front because it was raining all the session a bit. But yeah, I could do some good lap times in the start of the session, and the end of the session I knew I had something more and I wanted to push for one more flying lap, and yeah, it worked out. The feeling with the bike was really good. The team did really good job all the day, even in the rain, and yeah, just happy with my riding, happy with the team, and yeah, just want to enjoy this moment for a bit, but not too much, and I want to celebrate tomorrow more. I don't expect anything, but I'll try my best, let's see.
Well, Rico Salmela will try his best, he says. Will his best be good enough to beat the chasing pack? Salmela, race winner here in Estoril last year. He finished 13th, though, in the JuniorGP Championship last season. So perhaps not the season he wanted. He struggled for consistency at times. We saw the best of him here. We did see him, I think, in the season opener get himself and Rushy Mudley. Mudley, of course, has moved on to the Moto3 category. And we saw them collide a couple of times in the season opener in Misano last year. So at times, Salmela, just luck wasn't on his side. But when he's on form, boy, is he on form. And what a rider the Flying Fin is.
Absolutely, Chris. I think the issue is one of experience, it's one of racecraft. And what was the issue for Salmela last year was that he was struggling to finish races. I think he failed to finish 6 in total, and if you're not finishing 6 races, it doesn't matter whether you're not winning it. It doesn't even matter necessarily if you're not on the podium. Those are valuable points which aren't being accumulated as you're battling for the Junior GP crown. This time around, he's got pole position and he's in a prime place to be able to try and get his season off to a great start here. As we've mentioned before, he won last year, and he's put himself in a position to do so again.
Yeah, Brian Uriarte then, we're looking at here, UAX 72 Artbox rider under Emilio Alzamora's charge. Huge talent. Saw him win several races in the European Talent Cup back in 2023. 2024, he made his JuniorGP debut, but only later in the season, and what an impact he made. Picking up a win, a couple of podiums along the way, and he's been excellent. There we see his debut came in Jerez last year. What a talented rider, and one to watch today.
Yeah, absolutely. I had the pleasure, the privilege of watching Brian Uriarte as he made his debut there, and he was being talked about before, but I don't think many people would really understand the terms in which he was being referred to. I mean, he's absolutely sensational, as is his brother Marcos, and well, yeah, just fantastic.
Yeah, Hakim Danish then, the Malaysian rider on the front row, personal best qualifying for him, the number 13. Will be interesting to see what he can produce.
Yeah, he's been very good so far this year as well in the Red Bull Rookies. I believe he got a podium there, so he'll be very pleased with that and be looking to make an immediate impact here as well.
Some young fans then, they've got their Ferrari F1 gear on here at Estoril. Probably a fitting place to have some F1 gear. We were just mentioning earlier before going live that Ayrton Senna took his first ever victory here in Estoril in 1985. Only a couple of weeks ago, I heard that they had plenty of fans out on the track itself with the Ayrton Senna original Lotus car. But here we're talking about bikes. So Jesus Rios, the FIM Network XTI Mir Racing Team rider we just saw on screen. He is one to watch. Talking to some of the teams down below across the weekend, he's one of the reference riders that most of the teams want to follow and to try and match. But Rios has plenty of wins. Rookie last season, just, you know, exploded onto the scene, for lack of a better term. Took double victory in Misano.
Yeah, he was absolutely sensational in Misano. Another rider that did explode onto the team. I think that is the right term to be using. It was so good.
Yeah. Casey O'Gorman then, the number 67, edge of the second row, came through Q1. Managed to have a word with Casey yesterday. He was telling me that he found some good pace, but had some, he described it as a stupid day. He had a crash on his in-lap, fell victim to the tricky conditions yesterday, but he managed to produce his best lap against the clock. Went out with just, 2.5 minutes remaining on the clock. Only had one flying lap, and it was good enough to park it on the second row. So brilliant stuff from Casey. He's just on the outside of Marco Morelli, an ETC graduate. Morelli is with MLAV Racing. He was in the European Talent Cup, a rider last year who challenged for the title. Fell just short in the end, unfortunately, for the Argentinian, but he has moved on to Junior GP. He starts from P5. In 7th, it's Leo Rammersdorfer, the MTA Junior team for the Austrian rider. So, all riders just taking a moment, taking a breath. Eyes on the number 27 of Rico Salmela, the Flying Finn, victorious in Estoril season, not the season opener last year, but round 2 last year, the season opener this year. Salmela, a hugely talented rider, starts from pole position.
We'll be seeing the grid very shortly ahead of this incredible Junior GP race.
Certainly an exciting grid anyways, when we will go through it fully, but we've got such talent all across the 32 positions.
Yeah, absolutely incredible stuff. And this emerging rivalry between Rico Salmela and Brian Uriarte really is one to watch. I mean, and seeing Hakim as well on the third row. Row 2, we've got Rios, Marco Morelli and O'Gorman. Row 3, Rammersdorfer, Zani and Ao Alsina. Behind them on row 4, Inamitsu Asian Talent Cup champion Pratama and Mitani as well, both champions. Pugliese makes up that. On row 5, Daniel Esteban Gonzalez, and on row 6, Poggio, Ligori and Bertolau. On row 7, Belford, Singapore and Abruzzo. And on row 8, Bayonne, Uchimi, Van Chait. Row 9, Moundsy, Nicholas and Farkas. And then on row 10, Brown, Molognane and Michielon. On row 11, Wojcicki and Agostinelli.
So lots of rookies here in this class, a number of riders jumping up from the European Talent Cup. We've got a number of riders from all across the globe as well. International flavour to the 2025 Junior GP grid. So around we go on the warm-up lap, coming around turn 6 here. Popular overtaking spot in these classes. This is a reminder that this is the only Junior GP race we have in Estoril, but not the only race we have today. We're already 2 down. We've seen a brilliant European Talent Cup, a barely believable Moto2 Race 1. European Talent Cup will be up again after this, with Moto2 Race 2 after that, and then the stock European Championship helps close out the opening round of the campaign. But Junior GP has our focus now, and I am very much looking forward to this one. Impossible to call. You look across the grid and you just see talented names from all different types of programs, from the NTC, from the ATC, riders who have been in the ETC and then all made their way to Junior GP. Ultimate goal, well, they want to win a Junior GP World Championship. Absolutely. They want to win a couple of races, but it's to get onto the World Championship stage, the Grand Prix stage, with the best of the best. We've seen last year's champions move up. We've seen Guido Pini, Alvaro Carpe move up, Angel Piqueras a couple of seasons ago, Jose Antonio Rueda, a former champion here And look at what they are doing now, all in the Moto3 class and making their mark on the Grand Prix and World stage. So we're only moments away from lights out here in Estoril. The last of the bikes pulling up to the grid spot as they stream across our commentary box. The red flag is out. That will be waved down shortly. The safety car pulls up to the back of the grid. We are ready to go. The orchestra of sound. The Junior GP season is underway. Salmela gets a good launch, as does Uriarte. They are neck and neck going into the first corner. It looks like it's going to be Uriarte who has the advantage. Indeed it is. The number 54, Jesus Rios, shaking his way into second position. Salmela, the pole sitter, has been relegated into third by the first corner. But look at this from Brian Uriarte, the star in the making that he is of the 72 Artbox machine, takes the early lead.
Yeah, absolutely sensational from Brian Uriarte, but also from Jesus Rios. That was an absolutely incredible start, showing just how aggressive he is off the line, and that is why he is grabbing so many headlines and the attention of so many people.
Brilliant stuff from Lights Out then, setting the tone for what's to come. We can only hope. Brian Uriarte is opening up a bit of a gap already. Salmela's having a little bit look on the inside here at turn 6. He won't make the move on Jesus Rios. Hakim Danish though on the outside, hangs it on the outside of Salmela, but doesn't make it stick. So those trio are very tight together. Then you see the Irish tricolour, the number 67, Casey O'Gorman, looking to get his way onto the podium here. Pau Alsina running in 7th place. Ani, Pratama, Pugliese completing your top 10 with Joel Esteban in P11. It is, you could throw a blanket over 2nd to 10th position currently.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was an incredible move that we just saw there from Hakim Danish to move into P3, overtaking Rico Salmela, who's now dropped down to 4th from P1. So that is very, very interesting. And at the beginning, it looks like it's Brian Uriarte who is just pulling away for the time being, but in this Junior GP class, anything can happen. And Hakim Danish, oh, look at that from Casey O'Gorman, really taking advantage of that slipstream.
Yeah, the perfect first lap then for Uriarte as the gaggle of riders behind, but O'Gorman clips Salmela going into turn 1, runs it wide, but thankfully for O'Gorman, he's still upright and still in this. But the gaggle of riders fighting behind Uriarte. Uriarte will not be concerned. He's trying to avoid all of this, and he's the perfect first lap here in Portugal for the young 72 Artbox rider. So Uriarte over Salmela, Danish currently running in 3rd, Rios, Morelli, Pratama, Alsini, O'Gorman, Rammersdorfer still in the conversation.
Yeah, very much in the conversation, but we have to point out as well that there's around 6/10 of a second in lap time between Brian Uriarte and Rico Salmela. So very interesting, and there's going to be a long lap penalty there, I think.
Yeah, a couple of penalties from before, but Veda Pratama running inside the top 5 now. He's got a long lap penalty coming his way, as does Dodo Baggio, the Italian rider. But Dodo Baggio is currently a bit further, sitting outside the points in P18. So they have to serve long lap penalties coming into this race. They have been notified they can do it. They have 3 laps to carry out their punishment. But look at this from Uriarte. He is steaming off into the distance. We told you already that he had topped every session bar 1, which was qualifying in Estoril, and he is keen to right the wrongs of Saturday afternoon. And he is, what, 1.2 seconds ahead of the pole sitter Salmela already. Hakim Danish, the Malaysian rider, this would be a brilliant result for him too. Long way to go though. This is Junior GP after all. Do not expect it to stay like this.
No, absolutely not. I think it's important to highlight as well that the conditions were very, very different in qualifying, and Rico Salmela managed to take advantage of them. Brian Uriarte less so, but he's showing exactly what he can do here, because over the course of this day, it's getting warmer and warmer, it's getting drier and drier, and Brian Uriarte is showing just how mature he is and how capable of taking advantage of these conditions he is as well.
Yeah, Emilio Alzamora really has a huge talent on his hands, not just in this class, but also in the European Talent Cup. Of course, Carlos Cano, the reigning champion there. No spoilers here what happened in the opening race, but it was a belter. But yeah, Alzamora certainly has some talent on his hands, as we see Jeremy Wachowski has crashed out of contention. The number 92, less than an ideal start to the season for him. He is now down and out of the season opener.
Yeah, very unfortunate.
Here comes Pratama for his long lap penalty. Veda Pratama, huge talent, precocious talent from Indonesia and Asia Talent Cup champion in 2023, if my memory doesn't fail me. But yeah, big things expected of him, and perhaps could spring a surprise or two here in 2025.
I don't think it would be a surprise at all, Chris. I mean, he's been absolutely sensational.
Thank you for the support. It wouldn't be, to be fair. It wouldn't be. He's a huge talent. He wouldn't be the first Indonesian rider to win in the Junior GP either. Arbi Aditama doing that a couple seasons ago in Catalonia. So Pratama trying to follow in the footsteps. Of course, we know Indonesia now a breeding ground for new talent. So it's so great to see them performing on the world stage.
And it's a real
seeing them in Moto3 as real challengers. So it's a great thing. So Salmela, Hakim Danish side by side down the front straight in a battle for second position. Will it be the pole sitter? Will it be the Malaysian? It looks like it's going to be the pole sitter that takes second position off the hands of Danish. Uriarte 2-second advantage. Casey O'Gorman has recovered from that turn 1 mishap on the second lap and is now back in the podium conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's done really well to overcome that small issue that he had, and now he's very much in there.
Yeah, slipstream, a huge impact here as well. We've seen already Uriarte not needing, reels off another fast lap, fastest lap of the race of 1:43.307. That's a new all-time lap record in these conditions, a new all-time lap record. Brilliant stuff from the Junior GP rider. The last one was a 1:43.376 set by Max Keelays in 2024. So great stuff from Brian Uriarte. Still somewhat shy of the all-time lap record, but that belongs to Guido Pini at 1:42.850. But fastest race lap, 1:43.307. Brian Uriarte just showing what he is made of and his potential.
Yeah, he's no stranger to winning here in Estoril either. He won back in 2023 in the European Talent Cup. Both races in that season opener affair, so this time around.
Yeah, Kyobotso Monanyane then just running in last place. Clearly had an incident. Here we go. We had a crash for the South African. It's still running, but he has rejoined the race. Number 45 picking up data as he goes. So, we have another faller. Disappointment here for Agostinelli, the Vietnamese rider. Is it? Or no, hold on, we'll bring, Luca Agostinelli of AC Racing Team has gone down. Vietnamese rider coming up from the European Talent Cup, making his Junior GP debut. So back out front, Uriarte. He's in a country acre of space, Connor. He is no contenders right now. Rico Salmela, though, he's in second place, and he's got some trouble. He's got some competition. Casey O'Gorman being one of them, Hakim Danish being the other. We have a Finn, we have a Malaysian, and we have an Irishman fighting for Junior GP honours.
Sounds a bit like the start of a joke, I think, Chris.
But out front, it's a Spaniard, but 3 abreast coming into turn 6, and O'Gorman goes 2 for 1, says thank you very much, overtakes both Danish and teammate Salmela. O'Gorman running in second place, but that one has legs and is far from over.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is a real three-way battle for second place here, and it's going to keep going, I think, throughout this race. It's absolutely incredible so far. We've seen each of them in that P2 position, and that is not going to be over anytime soon. And it's getting harder and harder for our incredibly talented camera team to keep Brian Uriarte in the shot ahead of him, because he is running away with it. I mean, that last lap of 1:43.167 is absolutely incredible. 0.6 faster than Casey O'Gorman, who's currently running in second, at least for the time being, with Rico Salmela and Hakim Danish on his trail.
Yeah, it's going to keep chopping and changing. Here's the first opportunity now for Salmela or Danish to slip back. Danish is in the slipstream of O'Gorman. Salmela is pulled wide a little bit early. Here we see the slipstream come into full effect. Danish pulling out to the far left, overtakes O'Gorman, overtakes Salmela. Will Salmela have the inside line? And just as quick as you know it, O'Gorman is now outside the podium places. Has a little look over the shoulder, but Danish, you see the full effect of the slipstream there, and he uses it to the max. So Uriarte now out to 4 seconds. Danish running in second, looking for his first Junior GP podium. Salmela, a race winner here last year, looking to add to his podium tally, as is O'Gorman.
Yeah, absolutely. And that long lap penalty for Veda Pratama hasn't actually cost him too much at all. He's currently running in P7, but he's the only other rider, apart from Brian Uriarte, our current race leader, who is on a 1:43, absolutely incredible, from the Asia Talent Cup champion in 2023.
Yeah, Veda Ega Pratama, big star in the making from Indonesia. Let's see what he can convert it into. The number 9, you can just kind of see him a little bit in the back. Disappointment here for the Aspar Junior team rider, Sullivan Mounsey. Oh, he is out of the race, the young Brit. Disappointment. Let's see what happened to him coming into turn 1. Looks like it's going to be a front end washout. Oh no, it's a rear end. Oh, it's a high side. Wow, it looked like he had all the making of just going there, losing the front, but in fact it was the rear whipped around and sent him flying from the bike. Sullivan Mounsey is out of the race, as is Marianos Nicolis, the Australian rider. Well, we've lost a few riders already, but no trouble so far at the front, as these 3 riders here battle for 2nd, 3rd and 4th position. It's Salmela who threads the eye of the needle and pushes his way through the middle of both his competitors to take 2nd position.
Yeah, absolutely incredible there from Salmela. Such difficult move between the 2 of the bikes. He's managed to make it, and not only that, he's made it stick as well, but there's just nothing separating these 3.
Yeah, this one's going to keep going, and the longer this goes on, and they keep chopping and changing as we have another faller, we're going to see the likes of Veda Pratama come into play. He's now only 2.5 seconds off of the podium battle, but he is lapping just a little bit quicker. 1:44 flat last time around, where the quickest of the podium battle trio was Rico Salmela, 1:44.3. So,
Christian Daniel Jr. down there.
Disappointment for Daniel Jr., the MTA Junior team. He is out. He's going to try and remount, but that's disappointment for the American rider. So, there you see Uriarte, all by himself out front, very briefly. He's been very quick all day. It's Salmela over O'Gorman and Danish. These 3 then. Danish searching for his first podium in the class. Salmela, a race winner here in 2024, looking to add a podium to his trophy collection. Casey O'Gorman yet to win a race in Junior GP, but does have a few podiums, looking to add another. Whatever the result, if any of these riders finish inside the top 4, it's going to be a hugely encouraging opening race of the campaign for them. The podium, though, would just be the cherry on top. But most important, they do need to see the checkered flag. Drying track conditions, there are still some wet spots out there, which can be a danger to riders and their hopes of finishing this race. So a little check through some of the other riders behind the podium battle. Veda Pratama leads a group of riders there, the number 9 looking to drag himself into contention, and he could drag the likes of Leonardo Zanni, Pau Alsina, Jesus Rios down in 8th position, Marco Morelli and Leo Rammersdorfer in 9th and 10th. Joel Esteban, the former Moto3 World Championship rider, back in the Junior GP category. We've seen him across the opening rounds of the Moto3 World Championship, finishing inside the points as well, but he's running in 12th position here. He has struggled this weekend in these conditions.
Yeah, it's also quite surprising to see Jesus Rios back there in P8. I mean, he's someone that I really thought was going to grab this round by the scruff of the neck, and he's clearly struggling a bit, as is Marco Morelli, who did so well to get through Q1 and did so well again to fight his way onto the 2nd row in Q2. And he is having a bit of a transitional period as he makes the adaptation to Junior GP from the ETC. He gave us such an incredible season last year, just falling so narrowly short to Carlos Cano. This year, well, he has to treat it like a transition period. He has to get to grips and make sure everything's clicking. And once it clicks, that's when he's going to be in a position to be competing at the top with riders like Brian Uriarte, Rico Salmela, and of course, Casey O'Gorman.
Here we go then, down the front straight as we clock off another lap into the slipstream. Hakim Danish, we've seen him do this once or twice already. He's going to make a move past O'Gorman as they rub shoulders coming into turn 1, but it's still Salmela who leads his battle for 2nd place. Uriarte, his advantage is now gone out to 4.2 seconds. So very comfortable for the Spaniard. The Australia Galicia team then watching on 2 of their riders.
Down, I think.
Have we lost Pratama, did you say?
I think so. Something's happened. He's dropping down the timing screen.
He has indeed. Disappointment. We'll bring you an update on that. We see his name dropping down the timing screens. Huge disappointment for the Indonesian rider then, as he was making inroads into this podium battle. So it's all chopping and changing as it has been. Salmela has led this group now for the best part of a lap and a half, 2 laps. O'Gorman and Danish though battling for that P3 position, but with what, 7.5 laps remaining, don't expect it to sit like this at all, Connor.
No, don't expect it to stay like this, although if I was in the Estrella Galicia 0-0 box right now, I'd be absolutely thrilled with the way my 2 riders here in JuniorGP are performing. It's been absolutely incredible from Salmela and incredible from Casey O'Gorman as well.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. Brilliant battle on the cards here. This one's going to go the distance. Just having a look at the timing screens, yeah, Pratama is gone, and it looks like the likes of Zani and Zen Matani on for a great ride, the ATC rider. Wow, brilliant stuff from Zen Matani, the current ATC champion from 2024. He's on for 6th place here in the season opener, the Japanese rider. But it looks like those riders will not be able to bridge the gap here, as we once again clock off another lap. Uriarte, there he is. And there he goes, as we keep an eye on the podium battle. Salmela now has dropped into 3rd position as Danish decides he wants to lead this trio of riders for a little while. Casey O'Gorman just hanging on to the back wheel of his teammate and the Finn Rico Salmela. Salmela though, he's going to try a little move up the inside here. Doesn't quite stick on the uphill run into turn 3. Swinging it back left then around turn 4 once again. No opportunities for the overtake here, but on towards the back straight we go. Can he slip into the slipstream here as we kink through right? Nothing going for him here, so the hairpin at turn 6 looks like his best opportunity for a move. As you see, he's going to pull out left here, and here it comes. He's not quite close enough. Will he keep the tighter inside line? Not quite. Danish takes a more defensive line there, and there's nothing going for Salmela. What about here? Into turn 7, the right-hander. Again, he's got the inside line. Danish a little bit wider there, but cuts the nose off of Salmela. Gets a bit better drive then coming in through the SS section, sector 3 of 8, in towards the reverse chicane. Here we go. Left, uphill, 2 to the right. And again, Danish defending the position brilliantly.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, this is an incredible battle, but just a bit further behind. We've lost Jesus Rios now, which is very much unexpected, and Pau Alzina, who is doing so well to really advance through the field of starting from P9, so that's going to be very, very frustrating. Marco Morelli up to P8, but Giulio Pugliese is doing incredibly well in his first ever Junior GP race. I mean, he stepped up and he's really taken the bull by the horns here. He's up to P7.
Yeah, down the front straight we go. Confirmation Veda Pratama has crashed, but Salmela still leads this group. He manages to hold off the challenges of O'Gorman and Danish down the front straight as they knock off another lap and went 3 abreast. But it's Salmela who is showing classy ride here. Plenty of racecraft on display. So you would have to imagine, with Uriarte's lead up to 5.7 seconds, Uriarte has this one in the bag. He just needs to keep it clean and tidy. The battle for the podium is between these 3 riders, as we see Jesus Rios. Confirmation that he has crashed out. But who is going to pick the final 2 podium places between these 3 riders? 3 into 2 doesn't go, Connor.
No, absolutely not. And the real problem here is that these 3 riders ought to not be battling it out, because they need to be getting ahead and really bringing down that gap with Brian Uriarte. If they weren't scrapping it out here for P2 and P3, then they could just try and get a bit closer and maybe try and drag Brian Uriarte back into it. But with the gap as it is, and this battle as ferocious as it is, that is very, very unlikely. But it's been absolutely sensational from these 3.
Yeah, super stuff, super watching. It is tense. It's a high-speed chess match here in Estoril. Casey O'Gorman sandwiched in between Rico Salmela in front of him, his teammates, and Hakim Danish, the Malaysian rider, chasing a first ever Junior GP podium. Down the front straight we go, into the slipstream. Are we going to see any change? O'Gorman moves to the right-hand side and now makes his move on Salmela, but Danish pulls to the left and has the better drive of all 3 of them, and he is now in P2, but as he will run a little bit wide, O'Gorman looking for the inside line on the Malaysian rider. but Danish holds on, the number 13. So your top three is Uriarte, Danish and O'Gorman. Salmela, for the first time in a long time, is now outside of the podium places, but O'Gorman makes an attack on Danish. O'Gorman is now into second position. Brilliant stuff from the young Irish rider at Team Estrella Galicia 0-0. Hakim Danish, he will be fighting tooth and nail now to keep his podium push, his podium dream in Junior GP alive. But he's got Rico Salmela crawling all over him. We're going to see a lot of chopping and changing here. Rico Salmela is up the inside. Indeed, we won't see any chopping and changing, Connor. Commentator's curse strikes once again here in Estoril.
Yeah, it's been an absolutely incredible battle. I don't understand how these three have managed to maintain this intensity throughout this race. I mean, it's been like this from start to finish so far, and all three of them are putting in a tremendous shift. At one point, it looks like Danish is going to be breaking away when he gets that slipstream on the straight, but at other corners, it's O'Gorman that really gets ahead, showing off his technical ability. I mean, this is just too tough to call.
Yeah, hugely talented riders on display here. All of them here. Well, hard work obviously does a large part of the work, but talent alone can get you so far. But they're at the top of the Junior GP category. This is where the racecraft is going to come in. They show their smarts on the track. Look at Brian Uriarte. He is cleared off. What's his advantage now? It's, well, it's 7 seconds.
It's gone up by 2 over the
7
last
seconds in a Junior GP is incredible. As Salmela now reclaims P2 off the hands of O'Gorman. Wow.
That could prove absolutely vital at the end. I mean, these overtakes on that long straight. I mean, we're seeing a change there almost every time those three riders come down it. Will we see another one?
Yeah, we're watching the battle behind the podium places, which is led by David Gonzalez. Picked up a podium here last time out in the Junior GP category. David Gonzalez, the number 11. Oh, one of the riders. I didn't quite catch who it was. It was moving out the top of the screen, but it looked like he was rocking the rodeo. But yeah, we're watching the battle here for the top 6 with Leonardo Zani in 5th place. But it's David Gonzalez, the number 11, who's leading number 78 of Joel Esteban. Esteban, we've seen him in the Moto3 World Championship in recent seasons, and this season he is climbing his way through the pack and on the way to picking up some good points as he begins his Junior GP journey once again. That's Leonardo Zani, who you see on the purple FIM Network Mirror Racing Team bike, and then it's David Gonzalez, the number 11, who is just ahead of Joel Esteban, Giulio Pugliese, Zen Matani and Marco Morelli, completing your top 10.
Yeah, Morelli's dropped down a bit actually, but Zen Matani has been absolutely fantastic. I mean, the caliber on display here as well is incredible. Joel Esteban, Giulio Pugliese, who I was mentioning earlier, and Zen Matani have just been so good so far, and it's a shame they haven't been able to keep up with the 4 runaway riders, which really are 2 groups. I mean, you've got Brian Uriarte in a class of his own, and then Salmela, O'Gorman and Danish.
Side by side they go here, 31 and number 32. It's Pugliese versus Matani. Italy versus Japan in the battle for 7th position. It's Pugliese who looks like he's got the advantage there, just up the inside. Yeah, Pugliese makes that attack stick. But this is a good ride too from Zen Matani, it must be said, the Japanese rider. We've seen him on this circuit a couple times in the Junior GP World Championship, but it's good to see him. I think, if I'm not mistaken, we've seen him in the ETC, the ATC. This is his rookie race in Estoril, and naturally, he's on for a top 10 finish. Not a bad start to your career in Junior GP.
No, absolutely not. I mean, as we mentioned earlier, it is a difficult step up to this level from any class, including the ETC, and you have to really adapt well. You need to make sure everything's clicking, because there are technical differences on the machines, and they're difficult to get to grips with.
No, absolutely. I mean, the bikes are very different between ETC and Junior GP and Moto3. We see that. Okay, Marco Morelli parked it onto the 2nd row, but he was one of the breakout stars of the ETC campaign, and looking at his results throughout the weekend, it's been positive, but you could see there have been moments he's maybe realized the learning process involved here. And we say Morelli, but that of course means any of the ETC riders who are stepping up. There is a need to process time. Look at Dodo Baggio, for example. This is his second season in the class. Really talented rider in the ETC class. Hasn't quite met it work at Junior GP level as well, but with the experience will come the results.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment of the current affairs in Junior GP. The ETC is a different class. I mean, so much happens in an ETC race, obviously Junior GP as well, but it is just different. I think that's the best way to explain it. And you've got a bit more thrown at it when it comes to this level. And there's a reason why as well, because how many riders progress directly from Junior GP straight to Moto3 World Championship?
It's just a handful. One of those riders, Joel Esteban, now he leads this charge in 6th place, getting ahead of David Gonzalez, trying to reel in Leonardo Zani ahead of them. So Esteban, the number 78 there on the Aspar CF Moto Aspar bike, leading the charge in 6th place. Back out front, Brian Uriarte. His advantage is clocking up to be over 7 seconds. Oh, nearly 8 seconds.
Nearly 8. I mean, there's quite a distance here at this point in time. I'm sure that he's one of the riders who's taking full advantage of this drying track as well.
Yeah. Just over a lap to go. Uriarte then coming down the front straight as he gets ready to clock off another lap and begin the last lap of the opening race of the 2025 Junior GP World Championship. He is in a class of his own, the number 51. He just needs to keep it tidy, needs to keep it neat. He's extended his lead to 8 seconds. The battle for the podium, though, it's heating up.
Oh.
It is Danish Salmela over O'Gorman. O'Gorman currently the one to miss out. The Malaysian rider Hakim Danish in P2. He's on for a first podium. Can he hold on? The pressure is building from behind, Connor.
It's building and it's building and it's building. There goes O'Gorman. Can he make his stick?
Oh!
There's a moment. O'Gorman's down. O'Gorman's down. Well, what frustration. He tried to make the move and found himself falling off as a consequence. That's going to be awful for the Irish rider. He was so close to a podium finish. And there he goes. His podium dreams die. And he leaves it for Hakim Danish and Rico Salmela after every moment of the race battling to make sure that he would find himself in P2 or P3, but no, it's not to be, is it?
Yeah, more disappointment for O'Gorman. He was in the victory fight here last year and crashed out. It's a DNF on opening day for the young Irish rider, but it's Brian Uriarte who's having no problems. Around he goes, right-hander, turn 11, 2 corners left, the final left-hander. Here we go, no problems at all. Yeah, no problems at all. And now the iconic Parabolica, Ayrton Senna, the long sweeping right-hander to finish off this Estoril circuit. Down he goes, your Junior GP race winner in Estoril 2025 is Brian Uriarte.
Absolutely incredible ride from Uriarte. That gap was growing and growing and growing throughout the race. I mean, no one could even come close to the level that he has displayed here today in Estoril.
Second place then, Hakim Danish crosses the line with a comfortable advantage over Rico Salmela. Charge for 6th place there. So it's Uriarte who takes a brilliant victory. What do you have? Just under 8 seconds left. Hakim Danish profiting from the late drama between O'Gorman and Salmela to take his first ever podium in the Junior GP category. Rico Salmela, the Finn, back on the podium in Junior GP. 4th place goes the way of Leonardo Zani, while the battle for 5th, Giulio Pugliese over David Gonzalez, Marco Morelli 7th, Zen Matani 8th, Joel Esteban, who was ahead of that group, finishing 9th, just ahead of Leo Rammersdorfer inside the top 10. Brian Uriarte then, again a Junior GP race winner. Catch him if you can. 8 seconds advantage. He is a star in the making and another jewel in the crown of Emilia Alzamora's 72 Artbox team. We'll be hearing from him very shortly. Connor currently hustling his way down towards Parc Ferme. And we'll grab a word with our race winner. Hakim Danish then. Superb result for the Malaysian. Rico Salmela. Disappointment on one side of the Estrella Galicia box as Casey O'Gorman crashing out of the Junior GP podium battle in Estoril on the final lap made contact with his teammate Rico Salmela. Salmela, though, luckily for him, stayed upright and took the checkered flag in third position. If it hadn't been for that contact, maybe he could have fought for second. It did push him wide, but unfortunately, well, fortunately for Salmela, he's still on the podium. Unfortunately for Casey O'Gorman, it is a DNF from a race that promised much. And here's a rider that promises much, Brian Uriarte. The talent that has been earmarked by his rivals as the one to beat in 2025, and he's showing us why. A near 8-second advantage for the young Spaniard. Pops a wheelie as he rolls into pit lane, and the celebrations can begin. So hugs all around, high fives all around. Riders go in for their technical checks just to make sure everything is a-okay. And soon we should be seeing them pouring out of the box of the garage and into the arms of their jubilant teams. Yeah, there we go. Brian Uriarte, all good then, and being lifted on the arms and up in the arms by his team. Emilio Alzamora in there. What a talent this guy is. An ETC race winner. Only joined the Junior GP class around the halfway point in 2024, joining in Jerez. And wasting no time at all in making an impression, taking a victory in a podium. In Jerez. While he also has a Rookies Cup win to his name in 2025, also coming in Jerez just last weekend during the Spanish GP. Hakim Danish, former ATC World Champion. Some podiums in the European Talent Cup, and now a first ever podium in the Junior GP World Championship. Brilliant, brilliant stuff from the Malaysian rider, as it was for Rico Salmela. 16 crucial points to start off his campaign and a P3. Victorious here in 2024 in round 2, P3 this time around. It's the start of a good season for Salmela. If he can build that consistency and add those podiums, a title charge just maybe in the offing. However, the rider on screen with the number 1 in front of him is going to take some stopping in 2025. Here we go, some of the highlights. The decisive moment in the podium battle. It was the number 67 of Casey O'Gorman trying to move up the inside. It looks like his front had locked, and he made contact then with teammate Rico Salmela. O'Gorman ended up in the gravel, Salmela on the podium, and mixed emotions down in the Estrella Galicia 0-0 box. Pure delight though in the UAX 72 Art Box garage. Brian Uriarte, Junior GP winner once again, and by some margin. And he is now speaking with Connor down in Parc Ferme.
That's right, Chris. Brian, what a way to start the 2025 campaign. You were incredible in this race from start to finish, and you've won. How does it feel?
Yeah, well, feeling amazing. I escaped from the group since the first lap. I'm very happy for all the work we done this weekend, and yeah, I have to thank all my team for the support that they give me all the races I do. And yeah, since the test I was very fast here and I felt pretty comfortable, and now, well, escaping, I was not expecting to escape so fast, but yeah, I knew that I was having some pace to escape, but yeah, I don't have nothing more to say. I'm so happy. Thank you.
And in Spanish, please.
Sí, bueno, la verdad es que ha sido increíble, me he sentido súper cómodo durante toda la carrera. Hemos trabajado mucho, el equipo ha trabajado muchísimo y estoy súper contento de poder haber ganado así la carrera. No esperaba escaparme tan rápido, pero bueno, desde el test que hicimos aquí ya me notaba bastante cómodo con el circuito y con la moto, y nada, tengo que agradecer muchísimo a mi equipo que me han dado mucho apoyo.
Congratulations.
So this is how Brian Uriarte took victory in the season opener in Estoril. The 51 started second on the grid, but fired off the line and into the lead, one he would never relinquish, opening up a gap over the opening laps that quickly became unassailable. Just behind him, the likes of Rico Salmela, Jesus Rios, Hakim Danish and Casey O'Gorman vied for the podium places. The 51 there clearing off into the distance as O'Gorman Salmela occupied second and third position. O'Gorman ran it wide after almost colliding at turn one with teammates Salmela, Danish and Salmela then taking second and third as Jesus Rios dropped off. O'Gorman came back into the conversation though. This trio of riders constantly changing positions in the battle for second and third. The mixed conditions proved troublesome for the likes of Sullivan Mountsie and also Christian Daniel Jr., neither of whom saw the checkered flag. The race rumbled on. Uriarte had cleared off into the distance. The trio then of Danish, Salmela and O'Gorman vying for the podium positions kept chopping and changing as we had a battle for 6th, 7th and 8th just behind them. It was Salmela over O'Gorman and Danish. Then as we entered into the final stages, we see Joel Esteban led David Gonzalez and Giulio Pugliese in a battle for 6th, which turned into 5th after some late drama. Uriarte in a world of his own here as he crossed the checkered flag. Hakim Danish taking second, Rico Salmela in third. Casey O'Gorman crashing out of the race on the final lap after making contact with his teammate O'Gorman. But it's Brian Uriarte who takes victory in the season opener in Estoril. And now time for the podium celebrations here in Portugal. A podium with an international flavour. Spain leading the way, but we have Finland and Malaysia alongside him. The Finn, Rico Salmela, into third position, and for the first time in JuniorGP, Hakim Danish stands on the rostrum. Not for the first time, and certainly not for the last time, you would have to say. Brian Uriarte is on the top step of the JuniorGP podium. Mr. Armando Marquez, Vice President of the FMP, out to award the trophies and prizes. First up, the 72 Artbox team representative, Mr. Jean-Marc Desnus, handing out trophies then to Rico Salmela.
Federação de Motociclismo de Portugal a entregar o prémio ao
Hakim Danish, a moment he'll never forget. His first JuniorGP trophy. The former ATC World Champion and ETC podium finisher, now a JuniorGP podium finisher. Brian Uriarte winning once again in JuniorGP. And now time for the Spanish national anthem.
Antes da foto, vamos à cerimónia da
Brian
gasosa.
Uriarte then hearing his national anthem ring out here in Estoril, and deservedly so. What a performance he put in, finishing over 8 seconds faster than his closest competitor, and look how much it means to all three of these podium finishes as we prepare to see the official standings after this Junior GP race. And what a race it was. The battle for second and third, absolutely incredible from start to finish as well. A really ferocious affair. But it's Brian Uriarte who takes all 25 points after the season opener here in Portugal. Here we go then. These are the final results. Brian Uriarte with that maiden win of the season, followed by Hakim Danish and Rico Salmela. Then it was Leonardo Zani, Giulio Pugliese, David Gonzalez and Marco Morelli, who finished P7, Zemmetani and Joel Esteban in P9. What a mix of countries there. Then we've got Leo Ramestoffer in P10, followed by Evan Belford, Kiatsisak Singapong, Enzo Bayon, Leonardo Abruzzo, Kevin Farkas, Kotaro Uchiyumi and Lucas Brown in P17. Behind them, Eric Michielon, Owen Ventricht, Eduardo Liguri, and in 21st, Eduardo Bertola. Not finishing Casey O'Gorman, Doro Borgia, Veda Pertama, and Pau Alcina. So unfortunate, especially for the Irishman who crashed out right on that last lap, as did Boggio. Jesus Rios also failed to finish, as did Christian Daniel, Sullivan Mounsey, Marianos Nicolas, Nuotto Monignane, Luca Agostinelli, and Jeremy Wojciechowski. Well, we'll see the championship results now. Brian Uriarte obviously leading there, followed by Hakim Danish, Rico Salmela and Leonardo Zani. Giulio Pugliese 5th currently, David Gonzalez 6th, Marco Morelli 7th, Zemmetani 8th, Joel Esteban in 9th. Really shaping up to be quite an incredible season here in Junior GP. In 10th, Leo Ramestoffer. In 11th, Evan Belford. 12th, Kiatisak Singapong. 13th, Enzo Bayon. 14th, Leonardo Abruzzo. And in 15th, Kevin Farkas.
So onwards we go, and upwards goes Brian Uriarte. Next up, Jerez, a favourite circuit of the young Spaniard. Estoril belongs to him. He is the early championship leader. Make sure you join us in Jerez to see what the number 51 has in store for us in the south of Spain.